we were just discussing yesterday's events and where we move forward as a community, which is what we plan to do.
How do you move forward?
Still in formation right now.
What do you make of when people say that the governor should resign?
I think it's horrible.
Why?
I think it's horrible. Whatever investigation is going on, it's ongoing. No facts have come out as of yet. And the governor has decided not to run. And people shouldn't be dancing on people's graves, if you will. And I think it's absolutely horrible that people would suggest such a thing.
Do you think some of this atmosphere that's been created by the calls for resignation, the ongoing investigation, is going to make it difficult to govern the state?
No, I don't think so. I think David Paterson has proven that he can govern this state, and he's done some good things. I'm worried about the budgetary period like I am about any other budgetary period. But now that David Paterson is out running, the leaders of the legislature, both sides of the legislature, State Senate, New York State Assembly will come together and we'll send what we think the budget should look like up to the governor's office, and they will, I guess, do whatever it is they do, either say yes or no. With David Paterson not being the governor, I mean, it's almost like a baseball player playing for free agency. He can leave it all out on the field right now.
Yeah.
So he doesn't have to worry. He doesn't have to take political considerations in mind. He can just do what he has to do and feel free. And in terms of his decision-making process, and we'll move forward as a state.
Did you guys talk about the political future in terms of who the Democratic nominee is going to be and who?
Not while I was there.
And all that stuff?
Not while I was there.
Did Andrew Cuomo's name get mentioned at all?
Not that I heard.
Not once?
Not while I was there. I wasn't there for a short amount of time.
Do you think some people are going to try to use this as an excuse to give the governor a hard time and to get in his way?
How much more can they get in his way? They've been in his way a lot for the last 6 months that I've seen. They can, if they will, they do so at their own peril. I mean, listen, we have a lot of constituents we have to serve. We all have the same constituents, and it doesn't behoove anyone, it doesn't benefit anyone that we have a late budget process right in through here. And anybody that wants to be a fly in the ointment does so at their own peril.
Leader, you've endorsed Senator Gillibrand for her full term.
Guilty.
Now that there's not going to be, most likely, an African American at the top of government next year, does that change your mind at all and give you pause about not supporting Harold Ford?
Harold Ford, it didn't come down to race as far as I'm concerned. Harold Ford, had a lot of making up to do in terms of, I guess, connecting with grassroots people, connecting with various groups throughout the state of New York. I mean, I think he was at a tremendous disadvantage coming into a race in January, and here we are in February, and he has not made up his mind. New Yorkers thrive on relationships, thrive on if they want to be able to feel you, touch you, and know who you are, and that you might know their names. And Harold is a excellent politician as far as I'm concerned. I think he's tremendously intelligent, but I think he's just starting a little bit behind the goal line right now. And Kirsten Gillibrand has actually been out there working very, very hard, and that's why New York County endorsed her.
What do you tell these people that say the governor should resign? What do you tell them?
I think they're silly, and they need to go back to minding their own business.
What was the response
any
to?
sense of relief in the room that Paterson decided not to run?
I didn't find any sense of relief.
How would you describe it then?
It's something that has happened, and quite frankly, we've been through this before. And this is things like this happen in government. Things like this happen in politics, and I think that I didn't necessarily have a feel of relief. Where do we go from here? And hopefully we'll get there.
You don't think this is unique? I mean, given the trauma that this has caused, this isn't unlike anything you've ever seen before.
We've seen this kind of thing before, and we'll move forward as a community. Let me tell you something. Black and brown communities throughout the state of New York are very resilient. We've thrived even in the toughest of times, and I think that's what you're finding in this in room right now. Is that we're trying to create an agenda for black and brown communities, and I think that it will be successful as we move forward.
How was Congressman Rangel received today, considing some of the stuff?
A standing ovation.
Standing ovation.
Standing ovation. I gotta go. All right.
Was there any sense of blame as to whose fault this is?
No, not at all. All right, gotta go.